You know how you always have to pay for the good stuff? Like that new toy that just came into the store, or pretty much anything that you want. Well, this is a good thing that you don't have to pay for. It's recycling. And you don't have to pay for it, and you'll like it. Just sit back, relax, enjoy the show, and I'll tell you why. I care about our Earth and also lots of other things, like how it looks and the animals living on the Earth. You do too, right? Good. Because I'm going to tell you how all of this stuff can be saved. You like the environment, right? Well then stop killing it. If you really did like the environment, then here's a fun fact. Recycle. Recycling saves the environment. There are some places that could have garbage everywhere, and it could be your fault. Just look at this beautiful field of flowers. Do you like how it looks now? You probably already know this, but I'll remind you. When a piece of garbage goes into the ocean, marine animals can mistake it for food. If they eat it, they can die. Another way that recycling saves our Earth is also by reducing the amount of pollution, which also ends up saving our Earth. Here's a story. One day you decide to use your outdoor fireplace as a garbage can. You start up the fire and throw the trash in there. The smoke rises up, up, up. I want you not to do that. Here's why. Did you know that there's something called the ozone layer? The ozone layer is a layer or shield around the Earth that protects it from the sun's ultraviolet light. By breaking the shield can lead to coughing or even asthma. Now, after hearing this, I'm sure you'll want to keep as much of that shield that you can. Recycling can also preserve nature, like trees. You have trees in the yard of your house, right? You like them there, right? Well, if you recycle, it can actually save more trees. Here's why. Did you know that every 2 seconds, the area of trees the size of a football field gets cut down? I know, it's sad. Did you know that recycling can save those trees? Here's why, and there's another story. You are a lumberjack, and you choose an area to cut down trees. You see animals there, and also see how many trees have already been cut down. You were sent to go get wood and to make paper, but you decide not to. You decide that people can just recycle paper products instead. So now you know that recycling helps trees. Trees are also homes for animals too, so I'm sure you care about the animals. But since we're just talking about recycling here, it has more to do with the paper stuff. A tree can get cut down and made into paper, right? So then instead of just cutting down even more trees, you can just recycle and it will save lots of trees. Don't forget, if we run out of trees, we will run out of oxygen because the trees provide us with the oxygen. Hey, guess what? I know a really cool fact for people who don't like to recycle. In some places, it is a law to recycle. Okay, so now you might want to recycle before you get into trouble. But don't worry, it's only in some places. If your city or town has some kind of recycling organization, they will probably encourage you to recycle. But newsflash, recycling laws appear to be turning stricter. Lots of cities and states have rules about recycling. In some places, if you recycle a tin can or glass bottle, you will get a few cents for it. You may get anywhere between 5 to 10 cents for it. This is called the bottle bill or container deposit law. It is good because it encourages people to recycle. It also minimizes the waste in landfills. In October 2010, 11 states had the container deposit law. They were California, Connecticut, Delaware, Hawaii, Iowa, Maine, Massachusetts, Michigan, New York, Oregon, and Vermont. You might want to check if your state currently has the bottle bill or container deposit law. Hey, I just remembered. Did you know that there is something called green waste? It is yard waste that can be recycled, such as leaves, grass clippings, tree branches or stumps, tree trimmings, and more. In some places, they have yard waste pickup so that people can recycle the yard waste and turn it into something new. Now, I just wanted to say this because some people might think that you can't recycle yard waste, but you can. It is good to recycle your yard waste because it is turned into compost. It enriches the soil and improves plant growth. In some areas of the country, parts of nature may be sitting around, so recycling green waste is great to do because it also saves our planet. As you probably already know, recycled objects can turn into new objects, but I'm going to tell you what makes what. It won't be everything that you can recycle, but it will just be a few of the basics. Things like milk jugs and plastic containers should be recycled because they can be made into things like bottles, containers, picnic tables, lawn furniture, recycling bins, and more. Plastic bags come from lots of stores and they're good to be reused, but you can also recycle them. If they're recycled, they can be made into other objects. One thing is plastic lumber, which can be used to make benches for parks, backyard desks, and also fences. It can even be used to make playground equipment. They can also be made into more plastic bags over and over again, like a cycle of bags. That plastic water bottle you just threw in the recycling bin can be used to make many things. It can be used to help make t-shirts, insulation for sleeping bags, inside of fleece jackets, carpets, and more. Even though bottle caps are a different kind of plastic than the bottles, when recycled they should still go on top of the plastic bottles. They can be made into things like batteries for your car, rakes, storage containers, reusable shopping bags, yarn, ropes, brooms, and even more bottle caps. Did you know that foam packaging is made of 95% air? It can also be made into many things if you recycle. Recycling programs can make them into many things, such as insulation, picture frames, building products for your home, and more foam packaging. Now, last but not least, paper. It can be made into greeting cards, toilet paper, and paper towels, napkins, cardboard, magazines, newspapers, and even more paper. Just by recycling these objects, they can help make new items. Some things are made out of 100% recycled paper. For example, some shirts I've seen have had tags on them that say this shirt has been made from recycled materials. Now, before you go off recycling, I'm going to tell you what you can and can't recycle. It might vary from where you live, but it will most likely be pretty accurate. First off, you can recycle metal. You can because it needs lots of energy to be made, and also it needs lots of steps in the process of it being made. Wouldn't you rather save that energy and time? If you recycle metal, it will save some of that energy and time. Did you know that recycling 1 ton of paper can save 17 trees? It may seem like a lot, but when you think about it, it's not nearly as much as the tons of paper that we use every day. Glass is a unique product because it is 100% recyclable. And that means if you recycle it, it is almost guaranteed that it will get remade into something else. Plastic is in almost everything we use. It takes about 500 to 1,000 years to degrade or break down. Imagine 500 years ago, before the U.S. was separated from England, and 1,000 years ago was before there even was plastic. That's why plastic from many years ago is still around, but in different forms. Electronics and batteries can sometimes be recycled. When they are recycled, they are called e-waste, which means they are filled with toxic chemicals. You might want to check your town or city's recycling program to see if they accept it, for if it's not handled correctly, the toxic liquid inside can leak out. You wouldn't want this because if it leaks on the ground, a dog might walk by and lick it up. That wouldn't be good at all. Those are some, but not all of the things you can recycle. I'm positive there's a few more. Now I'll instruct you what can't be recycled. Sometimes you might convince yourself to throw something into the recycling bin that can't be recycled. Dirty objects, like a pizza box, cannot be recycled. This is because the dirty food objects could touch all of the recyclable objects and contaminate them. There are also items that are dangerous to the recycling machines. The items that get recycled go through a tremendous amount of sorting before they can go into the machines. The workers always have to be cautious to check for things that can harm recycling machines. So if in doubt, throw it out. Sometimes there are special situations, like with a coffee cup, for example. The sleeve of it can get recycled, but the actual cup cannot. You'll have to be watchful for these things. Well, after hearing all of these things, I encourage you to go off and recycle. Take part and encourage others. Thank you for watching.